Father Ocean, hear my song. You're the wave I was made from. Take me back to where we once began. Ocean Father, I was wrong. Years I followed just the sun. Now I see your darkness holds the key. I close my eyes and I begin to see.
Beautiful. Oh, oh, she's beautiful. Oh my God, Lauren. Oh my goodness.
It warms my heart to see so many familiar faces in the crowd today. Every single one of which I would not have the pleasure of knowing if it wasn't for Keith and Lauren's adventurous spirit, passion for connection and community, and their desire to travel the world, which I'll get back to in a few minutes. It's also amazing to see so many new faces, people that I haven't met yet, but I'm positive by the end of the night, with a few shots of tequila, we'll all be one big family.
Yeah.
Lauren and Keith asked me to express that the main theme of this day is not only a celebration of their love, but the power of connection and community, something that means so much to them. Their favorite thing to do is bring people together to have memorable experiences. They both feel incredibly lucky and grateful to be surrounded by such an amazing community of friends to hold them up and hold them accountable. This ceremony is proof that Keith and Lauren both share the same incredible passion for bringing people together, and proof of their inept ability to create an unstoppable force of energy and love that we are all fortunate enough to be blessed with. So again, I want to thank you all for being here on such an unforgettable day, and especially thanks to Keith and Lauren for sharing this magical day with us all. The fact that we're all invited here today is truly a testament to how important we are in Keith and Lauren's lives and in their relationship. So next, I just want us to take a minute and realize how honored we are to be invited to share this day with Keith and Lauren. Take the next few moments to look around at each other, maybe hold the hand of the person sitting next to you, and fully embrace this moment we have right now with presence and with gratitude. Lauren and Keith also want to give a special recognition to their parents, Dave and Rhonda Nyberg and Charles and Susan Skodonik, and thank them for supporting this marriage and blessing their union. We're also missing some very important people that we want to recognize for their involvement in Keith and Lauren's lives. This includes their grandparents, Alton and Audrey Johnson, Marcia Nyberg and Florence Skodonik, who couldn't be here with us today. They would also like to take a moment to remember Lauren's late grandparents, Valerie McClellan, Charles Skodonik Sr., and Les Clark, as well as Keith's grandfather who recently passed, Paul Nyberg. They want to thank his wife and Keith's Nana Liz, who they are lucky enough to have here in attendance today. Also in their hearts is their friend Sean Qureshi, who passed away unexpectedly earlier this year and would have loved to be here with us today. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Ramsey. Keith and Lauren gave me the incredible honor of standing up here with them today on the biggest day of their relationship. As they turn the page of their love story from boyfriend and girlfriend, from young lovers and fiancés, From never sleep again to never sleep with anybody else again. To bride and groom, but most importantly, to forever and always. As I mentioned earlier, Lauren and Keith both share the same wanderlust and passion for travel, which has played a crucial role in their relationship and growth as a couple. It is also the single reason that I'm able to stand up here with them today. I don't know about you, but traveling with somebody can bring out the best or worst in them. A little over 3 years ago, Lauren and Keith decided to make the brave or stupid decision of traveling together. And I'm not talking about a festival or a weekend getaway to Vegas, which could also turn into a disaster real quick. This was the trip of a lifetime. Lauren and Keith chose to embark on a 10-month backpacking journey across Asia. Together, with nothing but curiosity, a backpack, and the desire to grow as humans and lovers, they explored 9 countries. They visited temples in Cambodia, they ate exotic foods in Vietnam, explored the streets of Tokyo, partied in Thailand, chased waterfalls in Laos, drank cheap beer everywhere, rode scooters through the jungle in Bali, and a few of you with us here today even got to set sail with them on a pirate ship. But most importantly and undoubtedly, the highlight of their trip were the relationships they made along the way, especially me. One evening on their adventure at a small bar called Utopia on a river in Laos, I walked in and saw a fellow backpacker I had seen multiple times in the previous weeks around Southeast Asia. Sitting beside him was the beautiful bride standing next to me today, and sitting beside her was a somewhat homeless-looking man named Keith. For those of you that don't know or haven't seen the iconic photos, the only thing longer and more impressive than their journey together was the unforgettable ZZ Top approved beer that Keith drank. After a quick introduction from our mutual friend, Lauren, the homeless man, and I instantly We talked about music, we talked about our travels in Asia, about both living in San Diego, about the black hole that is Chico State, and lastly, we shared our love for the community of Burning Man. What was most impressive about our short yet sweet interaction at a random bar in Southeast Asia was how strong and how sincere of a connection we made in such a small amount of time, which is something that I think every single one of us here today can recognize and appreciate about Lauren and Keith. No matter how long or how recent or how much of an impact these two amazing individuals have been in your life, we can all agree that their relationship is something to admire, and their presence always undoubtedly increases the frequency of any gathering. We all met Keith and Lauren at different points in our lives, whether it was when they were in diapers, doing keg stands at Chico State, Keith wearing a blue wig, or Lauren looking beautiful in anything leopard print on the dance floor.
Thank you.
But for me personally, I could have never imagined a short conversation at a bar in Southeast Asia would be the beginning of such a beautiful lifelong friendship, let alone to me standing up here with them on one of the most important days of their lives. But to me, it's concrete confirmation on how magnetic their energy is and how truly remarkable these two human beings are. Along with a special group of people here today, I was fortunate enough to be there on the day that Keith decided to pull the trigger and propose to Lauren on a houseboating trip in Northern California. A couple days before, Keith and I were on our way to pick up Thai food when he told me that he was planning on proposing over that weekend. I could barely control my excitement. Trying to keep it a secret was a struggle, that my favorite couple was going to get engaged, and I would be there to witness the unforgettable moment of Lauren saying yes. And 2 days later, all of us on the houseboats climbed up on a hill to watch the sun go down. I didn't know exactly when Keith would drop down on his knee and ask Lauren the most important question of his life. And I don't think he necessarily knew exactly when either. But considering that Keith was the last one up on the hill because he had to grab the ring, of course, with a determined yet excited look on his face, not to mention he had no shoes on and was somewhat sprinting up the sharp, rock-covered hillside, I knew that this was the moment. And on August 28th, 2020, during a smoky yet beautiful sunset on Lake Shasta, looking like a better version of Barbie and Ken, Lauren, with tears of joy running down her face, said yes.
And you too, with tears running down your face.
And very much like today, that Saturday, for every one of us that was lucky enough to be there, was a day that I'll always remember. I think the only person that cried more than Lauren that evening was
like
me.
I said.
Leading up to this day, I was able to reach out to a group of friends close to both Lauren and Keith and consider and discuss what makes them so individually special and what makes their relationship so admirable. Lauren. Lauren is not only beautiful inside and out, she is dedicated, devoted, and driven. Whether it's related to her job, her friends, her family, or her partner, once she puts her mind to something, there's absolutely no stopping her. If you share one of your problems with her, no matter how small or large, she will not only be brutally honest, but she will give you the best advice and treat that problem as though it was one of her own. She is also extremely creative, whether it be in the kitchen cooking delicious food, designing trendy clothing and hats for her Love Market brand, or decorating Never Sleep Again at Burning Man. Her imagination and ability to build something beautiful out of nothing is remarkable. Keith. Keith is thoughtful, Keith is selfless, and without a doubt, the best listener that I've ever met. He also still looks at the world with childlike wonder and enthusiasm. If you want to see for yourself, just ask him about his most recent surf sesh, or his passion for Connect 4 and building stuff with Jenga blocks. Keith truly gets more joy from bringing together a community and seeing others around him happy and having a good time than anybody I know. No matter what the topic of discussion is, Keith is always extremely present and will listen to every word you say, which is very rare in today's noisy world and something I greatly appreciate. He has more love to give than I think he knows what to do with. I truly look up to him not only as a friend and a brother, but somebody to look up to as a mentor on how we should all look at and live our lives. So what makes their relationship so special? Their passion for each other is a flame that will never die. Whether it's encouraging each other in the adult world or seducing each other on the dance floor, their spark is exceptional. I know it sounds cliche, but life is all about balance, and they're a perfect example of people that like to work hard and play hard. They make a sensational team, from living together to traveling together, to being dog parents, and to directing and organizing a bunch of degenerates to help build and create a massive camp at Burning Man. That by itself is proof that raising children will be a walk in the park for them. They are one of the few couples I know that can turn a less than ideal situation into a fond memory. And the ones they couldn't, they turn into valuable learning opportunities. They both realize their human imperfections, and they are both willing to do the work required to work through them while supporting each other's own growth. They want the absolute best for not only themselves as a couple, but for everybody around them. With that being said, on behalf of myself and everybody in the audience, we're so incredibly grateful to know you beautiful humans, and even more honored to share this moment with you both today. Keith and Lauren, we appreciate you, we love you, and you make us all better people. The promises made between Keith and Lauren in the next few minutes will obviously be the most significant words spoken today. But it's not the only vow that will be made. For the rest of us, as witnesses to their marriage, we need to make the promise to unconditionally give our love and encouragement as they embark on this next chapter. You've all played an important role in their past, but even more importantly, is the role we will all play in their future. So I want us to all make the promise that we will hold ourselves accountable, that we will love and support Lauren and Keith through thick and thin, through darkness and through light, and their entire journey of marriage. At this time, Lauren and Keith have decided to exchange vows they have written on their own to express their love and commitment to one each other. Keith will go first.
It's going to be a little bit hard for me to follow up after Ramsey stole half of what I was going to say, but I'm going to still do this thing here. So beautiful. Lauren, monkey, my queen, my best friend, the most gorgeous woman I have ever met, and the love of my life. Today marks the first day of being together forever. The day where we will both make the most important promises we have ever made. The day we have both been waiting patiently for. The day we tie our souls together in front of our family and friends for the rest of our lives. And the day we receive rings to remind us of our infinite bond. When I thought about marriage before meeting you, it always seemed like such an impossible commitment to make. And looking back now, I realize it was because I was never imagining myself with you. But I stand before you today, after what feels like a lifetime of searching the stars for you, to declare my love and tell you how you have turned my world upside down. Over the past 5 years, we have grown and accomplished so much together. From traveling for 10 months through foreign countries, to finding new jobs, from park parties with friends, to the biggest party ever in the desert, you've always remained by my side. Loyal, loving, passionate, and understanding of my faults as a human. People that know me best know how challenging I can be. From debating viewpoints I don't believe just for the sake of it, to wanting to live in a spotless house, I will be the first to admit that I'm not the easiest person to live with day in and day out. I always prioritize surfing, and I'm always waiting until the last possible minute to get things done. I mean, I'm even the guy that ruins everybody's group messages with my Android phone. But despite my faults, you have always been by my side, fighting for us, putting in the work every day to make our time worthwhile. You are so special. From the way you show up for your friends to your ability to juggle and manage a million things all at the same time. I've always been infatuated with your ability to stay focused on what is important. I love that you always handwrite cards and have the ability to remember small comments made that enable you to buy the most meaningful gifts. And I love that regardless of how tired you are, you always try to present yourself as calm and relaxed. I love that you have never lost touch with your inner child. I used to not enjoy watching your baby videos, but it wasn't until recently I realized how much your inner child hasn't changed, and then I started loving to see them. They remind me that inside of the powerful, brilliant, and hardworking woman I know is a little girl. A little girl that loves to sing and dance for anyone willing to watch, one that loves her family and little brother and would do nearly anything to make them happy. I remember one of the first times I realized how wise you were. I was stalking your Instagram after our first weekend together and stumbled across a photo of you holding a sign at a music festival that read, "Doing my best." I remember laughing to myself initially because I didn't realize the significance of the sign, but after a few more moments of thought, it hit me. You knew you were trying your best to create the life that you wanted to live, and knew that while the effort may not always provide a return, that your best effort was all you always wanted to give. It showed me the ownership that you take in your happiness, as well as your understanding that while we can't control the outcome, we can control the effort. It's insights like this and countless realizations that you have helped me to figure out along the way that have contributed to the man I am today. While I have my faults, I'm a man eager to do my best to make the most of my time here. You've taught me the faults of my victim mentalities, and also helped me better understand my methods of manipulation and better paths to arrive at the same destination. It was through these times that I came to learn that you are my person. The person that makes me laugh more than anyone else. The person that motivates and encourages me to be the best version of myself I can be. The person that pushes me in all the right ways. The person that loves me deeper than I have ever loved before, and the person that will someday be the mother of my children. I have always viewed a happy and meaningful life as a puzzle that each of us are uniquely given and tasked with solving throughout our lifetimes. Some people are able to complete their puzzle with little effort or outside help and live happily all of their days. Others think that they're missing puzzle pieces and try tirelessly to find happiness and meaning by focusing on other people's puzzles instead of their own. I think this philosophy has always resonated with me because it's a reminder for me that each and every one of us is on our journey to happiness and has our own puzzle to solve. And the idea of a couple combining their puzzles to make a complete picture is all but impossible. But what I do know is that it's possible for two people to be working on their puzzles side by side and to collaboratively help and support each other with the completion of their puzzles. Lauren, being your partner and working to define our happiness both individually and as a couple has been the greatest experience of my life. I'm constantly humbled by your desire to seize the day and also your understanding that you and only you have the ability to make your day the best or worst depending on the perspective you choose. You are kind to everyone you meet, compassionate to those who are suffering, understanding of those that are doing their best, but also stern and reminding people that they need to take ownership of making themselves happy. Lauren, from this day forward, I promise to always do my best, to support you in the construction of your puzzle while building mine, to support you to the best of my ability, even if I don't agree with your decisions, and to love you with all of my heart. I promise to never take a day that I wake up by your side for granted, to follow your lead in seizing the day, while also being there to support you if you're not having a good one, to seek to understand before I assume, and to always fight for you, no matter what happens. I love you.
I love you too. To be standing here with you today, surrounded by the absolute best community of friends and family I could ever imagine being here with us in this moment, is almost unreal. From the moment I met you at the Desert Hearts party in Lake Tahoe, followed by literally one of the most perfect weekends I've ever had in my life with a stranger, I knew there was something extremely special about you and about us. I couldn't believe a person like you existed, and that I got to spend even just one insanely magical weekend with them. By the time I met you, I had relinquished the need to find love on my own time, to stop searching and just be. But when this tall, sexy man locked eyes with me simultaneously, not once, not twice, but 3 times throughout the night, I figured the universe was trying to tell me something. Fast forward through a day on the mountain, hoping to impress you and your friends with my snowboarding skills, an overnight stay in a rustic cottage, and your first speeding ticket. There I was, writing in my journal about what that weekend with you felt like. I wanted to tell you what I wrote in that journal so many times in the past 5.5 years, but I held back in order to save it for our wedding day that I hoped would come. And here we are. In a summarized version I wrote, "This is what it feels like when you meet the kind of person you know is worth waiting for. The type of next level human I always talk about finding. Sometimes it seems so far out of reach that I resort back to people that I know are not good for me. I'm writing this down to remind myself that it is out there, and waiting for this type of connection is worth it. I haven't felt so happy and purely perfect in a very long time. We talked about enjoying every moment as it happens and not to be too concerned with what the future holds, because you could miss what's right in front of you. And right now, it's everything I could ever want." I wrote, "Note to self, never settle for less than this feeling." And luckily I don't have to, because that following week, you sent me a friend request on LinkedIn. And the rest is history. He's a professional. As the years went by, the pages of that journal became filled with a vast range of emotions, from overwhelming love to expressions of sadness and frustration. Over the course of our relationship, there were days, weeks, or even months that were tough for us. Learning how to effectively communicate and navigate between being 2 type A personalities was challenging, and it took a lot of patience and understanding to move through difficult times together. But we fought hard to unlearn behaviors that did not serve our relationship. We persevered for one another, knowing the love that we shared was far stronger than any barriers blocking us from reaching our full potential. One of my favorite things you ever taught me from the very beginning of our relationship was, no matter what happens, remember we're on the same team. And I return to that phrase time and time again when I need to be regrounded in our love. To be with a person who is fully committed to being the best version of themselves every single day and actively does the work to make that happen is humbling and inspiring. I love that you wake up and surf every single morning, because being active and in the water brings you the ultimate happiness. And I also love it because I'm pretty sure you've fallen in love with San Diego forever. I love and hate that you've pretty much become better than me at golf at this point, because you were determined to be able to give my dad a run for his money on the course from time to time.
I'm coming for you.
And he can. But honestly, one of my favorite things about you is the way that you've always encouraged my journey to find my own individual happiness outside of the confines of our relationship. As we've always said, you're not the missing piece to my puzzle. We are both working on our own puzzles side by side to completion with one another's help and encouragement. You've never put limits on how I want to show up in the world, or the love I want to express to those around me. And I love that we share in the knowing that love, the most important human connection that we will ever have the pleasure of experiencing should never be regulated, contained, or controlled. I love the way you've always encouraged me to be myself, to be authentic, and to be honest. I love that it was through your eyes that I truly learned how to love myself fully and completely from the inside out. I love that you're even better at creating an organized spreadsheet than I am, but that you still ask me for help in Excel every now and then. I love how good you are at problem solving and fixing literally pretty much anything that breaks, including the timing belt on our RV that broke down on the way to Burning Man with your own bare hands. I love your perfectly chiseled abs, despite the amount of sugar that passes through your body on a nightly basis, which is both alarming and fascinating all at the same time. I love that you've always made sure I had a full water bottle on my nightstand before bed and that you won't let me go to sleep without giving you a goodnight kiss. I love that you took the initiative to start new Christmas traditions for us, even though when I first met you, you were the ultimate Christmas Grinch. You have slowly embraced my favorite holiday, and I think actually come to like it yourself because you know it makes me happy. I love watching you being the best dog dad to our little boy, and I can't wait to watch you become the best dad to our future children. And I really love how much you love doing the dishes, and I hope that never changes. Finally, I just love how genuinely loved you are by literally everyone who knows you. I'm so proud to walk by the side of a man as genuinely as kind as you are. I never told you this. I have one more, 2 more pages. So. I never told you this, but one of my favorite things to do is lay my head on your chest at night and listen to your heartbeat. It reminds me of how precious life is and to cherish every single beat that pulses through my eardrums. It reminds me not to sweat the small stuff and that heaven truly is a place here on earth with you. I look forward to continuing to learn the delicate and beautiful dance between our masculine and feminine energies and how to be the best partners for one another each and every day. I look forward to continuing to bring people together and create communities that will support and love one another through this crazy life. I look forward to raising little humans with you that will make this challenging world a little bit brighter and having the most fun, being like children ourselves and never losing that innocent, playful spark. As your wife, I promise to always make you feel seen, loved, and supported. I promise to give you extra hugs and cuddles on the days that you're feeling down. I promise to always lock eyes with you from the other side of a crowded room or dance floor to remind you that you're my one and only. I promise to give up a few hours a week of watching Bachelor in Paradise or any one of the other amazing reality TV shows I like to watch one of the many classic movies I've never seen with you. I promise to always do my best to put things in their dedicated places and to crack your back anytime you ask for as long as we live. I vow to love you more each and every day as we continue to learn, grow, and intertwine our souls with one another. I vow to lead with patience, love, and understanding in moments of conflict between us. Even through the inevitable dark times, whether they exist between us or outside of us, my loyalty and commitment to you will remain undoubtedly. I'll protect you in your heart with every last fiber of my being until the end of our days. Keith, you are my best friend, and I couldn't be more excited to walk into this next chapter of life with you. Thank you for choosing me. It's the greatest gift I've ever received.
Cool. Okay. And now for the exchanging of the rings. At this time, I would like to ask Lauren's brother Alex to please present Keith's ring. Keith, please repeat after me. With this ring, I give you my heart.
With this ring, I give you my heart.
It is a symbol of my eternal love.
It is a symbol of my eternal love.
The fulfillment of my dreams.
The fulfillment of my dreams.
And the promises of all my tomorrows.
And the promises of all my tomorrows.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
You shall never walk alone.
You shall never walk alone.
My heart will be your shelter.
My heart will be your shelter.
And my arms will be your home.
And my arms will be your home.
And now, Tori, please present Lauren's ring.
Thank you.
Please repeat after me. With this ring, I give you my heart.
With this ring, I give you my heart.
It is a symbol of my eternal love,
It is a symbol of my eternal love,
the fulfillment of my dreams,
the fulfillment of my dreams,
and the promise of all my tomorrows.
and the promise of all my tomorrows.
From this day forward,
From this day forward,
you shall never walk alone.
you shall never walk alone.
My heart will be your shelter,
My heart will be your shelter,
and my arms will be your home.
and my arms will be your home.
Lauren and Keith, we have heard the sincerity in your promise to share your lives in marriage. We recognize your love and support your decision to build a family and a beautiful life together. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Keith, you may kiss the bride. It is my absolute honor to introduce to you the new Nybergs.